Remember back when Hillary was outraged at even the implication that someone might not prematurely accept the election results?
Do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time.
Let's be clear about what he is saying and what that means. He is denigrating, he's talking down our democracy. And I, for one, am appalled.
Remember when she doubled down on the campaign trail?
He is threatening our democracy.
But she made those statements back when she was really confident about her prospects in the upcoming election. Maybe even so confident, she had a delusional sense of entitlement to the office.
Why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask?
And then, of course, the election did not go her way.
And to all the little girls who are watching this is painful. And it will be for a long time.
So there's an interesting dilemma. Your previous words emphasize your commitment to accepting the electoral results no matter what, but your obsessive sense of entitlement to the office demands you take all available paths to get there. What's an irrelevant, cranky grandma to do? The only thing she can do: make a scapegoat of an even less relevant cranky grandma. Now, I must be honest, there is no way I can prove to you that Jill Stein is the last remaining pawn in Hillary's game of political chess. But like everything with Hillary, things work out in her favor in a bizarrely coincidental way, even though she officially has nothing to do with it. I've said it all summer and fall. Even if we give Hillary the full benefit of the doubt, she has a remarkable relationship with coincidence. So let's take a look at what Jill and Hillary each say independently about this recount effort, the official record. Then let's take a look at the timeline of events, as well as some of the finer details that, in my mind, raise some additional questions. First, Jill Stein. Miss Stein, why are you pursuing this recount effort? Jill Stein genuinely believes in the power of grassroots democracy. Independently funded candidates like Jill Stein cannot stand a chance if our electoral system is rigged in favor of establishment, corporate-funded candidates. The evidence so far shows it is easy to hack many voting machines being used in elections. This is the first ever attempt to demand recounts in multiple states following a presidential election. Greens have long been behind electoral reform efforts for years, including the 2004 Ohio recount that sent 2 election officials to jail and prompted California to ditch hackable DRE voting machines. Okay, so this has always been your thing, even though you haven't done anything about it in 12 years. And it's always been your thing, even though, by your own description, this is the first multi-state recount ever conducted. But all right, Jill says it's purely in the interest of maintaining election integrity. Let's take her at her word for now. So what about Hillary? What's her role in this? Here's her campaign lawyer, Mark Ilias. Green Party candidate Jill Stein announced Friday that she will exercise her right as a candidate to pursue a recount in the state of Wisconsin. She has indicated plans to also seek recounts in Pennsylvania and Michigan. Because we had not uncovered any actionable evidence of hacking or outside attempts to alter the voting technology, we had not planned to exercise this option ourselves, but now that a recount has been initiated in Wisconsin, we intend to participate in order to ensure the process proceeds in a manner that is fair to all sides. Okay, so Hillary is just saying, oh, gee golly, guys, I wasn't interested in this whole recount thing, but now that somebody else is doing it, I am very interested in this recount because it's just, fair to everyone. And it's especially fair to me, because this way, I'm not a massive hypocrite. So officially, each campaign would have us believe that this is a self-directed effort by Jill Stein alone in the interest of election integrity, not partisanship. Which of course Hillary wants nothing to do with, but hey, she's hopped on board after the fact, because it's just fair to everyone. But those are the campaign lines. Now let's consider the timeline of events and some of the finer details to see how they align with those statements. First, obviously both candidates lost the election on November 8th. Why that matters is because Jill Stein has been interviewed since losing the election, not once mentioning interest in a recount. She's been all over social media posting since the election, and not once until very recently has she discussed a recount effort or election integrity. If this was such a big concern unique to the Green Party, I would expect Jill to say something about it shortly after the election. But it didn't happen. So what changed? Well, according to reports, a group of prominent computer scientists and election lawyers met with Hillary's team privately to urge her to file for recounts in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, her 3 closest losses. And funny, the 3 states that would flip the electoral results. But I'm sure it's just coincidence that the evidence of fraud or statistical anomalies that these experts allegedly found are also in the 3 specific states that Hillary needs most. So that was Sunday. These experts urge Hillary to pursue recount efforts in the 3 states that would flip the map. And then all of a sudden on Wednesday, Jill Stein becomes the hero democracy needs, announcing she will pursue recount efforts in, drumroll please, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. But not because she has any affiliation with Hillary, just because she cares about the integrity of the vote. Now, many people have rightly questioned, Jill, if all you care about is election integrity, why would you skip a recount in New Hampshire, the second closest state by margin and the closest state by raw vote difference, 2,500 votes in Hillary's favor? And after all, New Hampshire uses the same vote counting machines that Michigan does, the same machines about which Jill is expressing concern. And the technical answer is she can't. It's too late. The deadline to file for recount in New Hampshire was Monday, November 14th. More than 2 weeks ago. So the deadline answers the question of, hey, Jill, why aren't you challenging the results in New Hampshire where Hillary won? But it doesn't answer the question of, hey, Jill, if election integrity and recounts are your thing, why would you wait until after the deadline in one of the closest states to start talking about it? If it's your thing, why wait until after Hillary started talking about it? And why are you running this right up against the filing deadline in the 3 specific states Hillary needs to flip the map? If this has always been your thing, why are you scrambling at the last possible moment, and why are you late in a state with a closer electoral margin? One more interesting thing about the facts here. As the one initiating the recounts, Jill Stein needs to bear the burden of the cost of each state to do the actual counting. And she raised her initial goal of $2 million to do that overnight, and then raised $5 million, and then coincidentally upped the goal to $7 million. And since I recorded this video, she has upped her goal again to $9.5 million. Well beyond her initial estimate, citing attorney's fees and hiring observers for the added costs. And in addition to that goal hike, Jill also says she can't guarantee the money will go to recount efforts, but hey, no refunds. Where there is a surplus, she will put the money to election integrity efforts and promoting voting system reform, which is, as she mentioned, conveniently right there in the Green Party platform. So she can just advocate voting reform when she runs again in 2020. Considering Jill only raised $3.5 million during her entire campaign this year, $7 million is a nice chunk of change to work with. Okay, that's a lot of information to absorb. So let's review the main things we're supposed to believe. And to do that, I need the main piece of headwear Hillary always forces upon me. Jill Stein and the Green Party have always been very active on election integrity issues. Never mind the fact that the Green Party hasn't done anything about it in the last decade. Never mind that they themselves admit this is a first of its kind electoral challenge. Never mind that they only started talking about it after Hillary did. And never mind that they missed the deadline in the closest state in the union by vote difference. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, believes in accepting the results of the election. This effort to question the results of the election is not her doing. Never mind the fact that it's being conducted in a very specific way that effectively serves as her political corpse's last undead grasp at the Oval Office. Never mind the fact that it's taking place immediately after a group of strategists met with Hillary to propose this exact strategy. Forgive me if that's too many never minds to accept. Now, this effort is entirely unlikely to change anything. Hillary needs the trifecta of states to get it done. Losing even one means it's over, and it's incredibly difficult to get it done in Pennsylvania specifically, though I'll spare you the boring details about why. But with the way this effort is structured, does it matter if it's unsuccessful? Let's think about how well this arrangement works for each candidate. Hillary gets a scapegoat to deny any responsibility in her last-ditch effort at the presidency. Jill gets a ton of media play and a pile of money, double the money that she and the Green Party raised for the entire election season, money with which she explicitly says no refunds. Each candidate gets only possible gains and no possible losses, even if the recount effort produces nothing. And we're expected to believe that's not by design, it's merely by coincidence. But you know what? Hillary and coincidence are best friends. They hang out all the time. I don't know why I should question their relationship at this point. Like when coincidence helped out with those Trump sexual assault accusers Hillary had nothing to do with, but who came out in perfect election timing in the key battleground states of Ohio and Florida. Or when coincidence reminded her it was time to clean up her inbox of all those cluttered personal emails, right after Congress sent her a subpoena. Or when coincidence kindly arranged for a private meeting between Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch to discuss the grandkids at the Phoenix airport, right before coincidence determined no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges against Hillary. Can coincidence pull the ultimate improbable favor and get Hillary into the White House? Unless he works miracles, no. But I've learned to dismiss nothing at face value in this election, and I'm prepared for anything. I just got a fresh box of Reynolds wrap. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on Twitter. That is at Matt C on YT. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.